Hi, so you might get this video as useful, like if you are a developer who use any cursor agents or different IDs, code editors, where you can ask some agents and your LLM stuff to create some code, right? Mostly like example, you have a big example like cursor, right? So if you're using cursor to create code, and if you're not able to get the right results of the code, like whatever it does, it might break your code, it might not give you the actual required code. So here's what, like for the last 2 years, what I have used cursor and what I have understood, that initially I also got a lot of problem in this. I wasn't getting the right results at all, but over the time we learn, right? So what I learned, that you have to give a, as long as you give a good prompt to it and you explain your requirements clearly to it, then it will give you the best results. Initially what I did, like if I want a normal thing, so I'll write 1 or 2 lines of prompt, but that is not going to be helpful. That is what I understood later on. Then I just change the format of my prompts, like what I have in my mind, I understood it clearly in my mind first, then I wrote it clearly in the simple English what I want actually. Now if it does something extra that I don't need, so if you want to do some deployments, but like if it is creating some deployment scripts but you don't need that, so either you say that don't create any deployment script, or you create a command, temporary commands using like slash you can create in cursor, right? So if that is also not good, then you can create cursor rules as well, where you specify what it should do, what it should not do, how it should like work, how it should not perform, what things it should create, what not. Like if you see that it creates readme files again and again, you better create a rules that you don't need to create readme files, and also create only text files only when it is a requirements or txt file for your packages or whatever modules you want to install, your basically dependencies, right? The next thing is like when you already have a code and you want to use it, you want to modify it, always first create a version of that. I did multiple mistakes in the starting time of my life, in my career, right? When I was creating that code, so I wasn't taking the backups of those code, I wasn't creating the versions of those code. So I suggest that this is a good practice, that you create versions and then you create on the copied version, so that the original code doesn't get wrong, right? And then you first give the full context of what the particular existing code is doing. It helps it understand what is current background, and then you say that read these files again, and get a full understanding of it, and then explain it clearly what you want, what you don't want. So in this way, if you implement these things right, you will get a very good result out of that, and everything will work very much perfectly. uh, Again, the second thing is like it is not only on you as well. You have to understand that a lot of models in cursor, right? So for good models or bad models, they have individual capabilities of models. So which model you are going to use, what is the requirement? like I can't say any model name here because I don't know how it will respond to my video or channel. But like if particular model is using only like text based systems, and you can't put images of the front end or whatever images you want to put, then it is not going to be done. But some models are very good for front end development, very, and some models are good for back end development, and some models work very much perfect with your images. Some models are able to understand the images better, some are not. So these things you also keep in mind, like how you are going to take. There's some more, like your versions or your kind of controls in cursor as well. You have a agent and planning thing. So first you can plan, and then you can execute that. So in the plan, if you switch on the planning mode, sorry, if you switch on the planning mode, then you're able to plan clearly, it will think differently, and it will create a proper implementation, right? And uh, sorry, I'm just getting distracted a little bit, but like I also suggest that you create an implementation plan of whatever you're going to implement. First understand it, then implement it in stages, because you have some token limits as well, right? So what happens that if you do everything at once, then what will happen that it might not do the work clearly. So always divide your like work in your multiple stages, 5 stages or 10 stages, and then implement it. And whatever you think you want, write it down in the agent. That is what help you a lot. You think that it is already intelligent and it doesn't need that much context. No, it doesn't. It needs, think like you are a manager and it is an employee. The manager needs to explain things to employee, like how it needs to be done and what is the required output, what is the needed. So doing all these things will actually help you get the things really quick and do it in a like efficient way. Basically, that is what my experience is, but I'm still getting experience. In the future I will just definitely like add more context to this. Thank you, and if you're watching till now, subscribe.